Essentially, they are urging Mr. President to intervene.
As federal government renews commitment to stabilize the West African sub-region, President Buhari assures Saharan Arab Democratic leader of Nigeria's support in the quest for self-actualization.
Decided now to send a letter to the president that yes, we are set, the elections have been done, and we are ready to go to business.
Senate writes President on its inauguration, says a quorum of the 9th Assembly is formed and presiding officers elected.
I congratulate you, and the fundamental issue is to maintain focus on national issues.
And the President receives new Speaker of the House of Representatives, expresses optimism that the next phase will be more impactful for Nigerians. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Also on the news tonight from our Lagos Center is Hingino John Adams. The federal government has restated the commitment of Nigeria towards bringing its influence and resource potentials to bear in the task of stabilizing the West African sub-region. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while granting audience to the special representative of the United Nations Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, Mohammed Ibn Chambers. State House correspondent Adam Sambu completes the story.
Mohammed Ibn Chambers, who represented the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the Democracy Day celebration, expressed Mr. Guterres' personal admiration for President Muhammadu Buhari's integrity and quality as a statesman, especially in fighting corruption and driving public accountability. He said the United Nations appreciated the Nigerian leader's commitment to tackling poverty, terrorism and insurgency, as well as recharging the receding Lake Chad. Mr. Chambers pledged continued technical support of the United Nations to INEC, the nation's electoral umpire, towards the next general elections. United Nations, he also explained, is delighted that Nigeria's permanent representative, Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande, was elected the president of the 74th General Assembly. He described Professor Muhammad Bande as highly regarded by his peers in New York and will undoubtedly be a pride to Nigeria and Africa. President Muhammadu Buhari expressed pleasure that the United Nations appreciated his administration's focus on fighting corruption, poverty, and ensuring regional stability. He restated his belief that peaceful relations with Nigeria's neighbors remained imperative in confronting terrorism, insurgency, and other cross-border crimes. In a related development, President Muhammadu Buhari received in audience the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, Tabang Deng Gai. Mr. Deng Gai came to seek Nigeria's continued support towards lasting peace, security, and sustainable development in his country. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Buhari has restated Nigeria's support for the people of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic in their quest for self-determination in line with the resolutions of the African Union and the United Nations. This was while receiving in audience the Sahrawi leader, President Brahim Ghali. State House correspondent Adam Sambu reports that the Nigerian leader also received President George Oppong-Weah of Liberia.
President Brahim Ghali of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic was in Nigeria in respect of the National Democracy Day celebrations held last Wednesday. His visit to the State House was to formally commend Nigeria's past support for Sadr and the liberation movements on the continent, especially during President Buhari's tenure as military head of state. While congratulating the Nigerian leader on his re-election and the successful Democracy Day celebrations, President Brahim Ghali maintains that the weight of Nigeria's support remained crucial to the final resolution of the continued colonization of his people.
Essentially, they are urging Mr. President to intervene to ensure that the issue of referendum at the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic is undertaken as soon as possible. And Mr. President assured the President of Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic that he is going to do all in his power to make sure that AU and United Nations are energized to be able to hold the referendum in that republic.
President Muhammadu Buhari said Nigeria remains committed to supporting efforts of the African Union and the United Nations towards finding lasting solution to the Sahrawi problem. It will be recalled that Nigeria recognized Sadr on November 11, 1984, when President Buhari was head of state. President George Openwear of Liberia also came calling at the presidential villa to offer his best wishes as President Muhammadu Buhari began his second four-year term of consolidation. President Weah, who also attended Nigeria's National Democracy Day celebrations, met the Nigerian leader behind closed doors for about 30 minutes, but details of their discussions were not made public.
As you know, Liberia and Nigeria have come a long way. After the initial introductions, actually they retire in for a one-on-one. But essentially, President Weah briefed Mr. President about the situation in Liberia and the emerging challenges in Liberia. I'm sure they have achieved good understanding. And I'm sure Mr. President will also direct further action on all the issues that the Liberian president has raised with him.
President George Openwear, who was a former professional footballer, came to office last year as the 25th president of Liberia. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
More visits to the first citizen, as the president has expressed optimism that with the new leadership in the National Assembly, the next 4 years of his administration will be more eventful, result-oriented and responsive to the needs and aspirations of Nigerians. This was while receiving in audience the new Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, on a thank-you visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo also has the details.
Still basking in the euphoria of his overwhelming election to preside over the 9th House of Representatives, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila was accompanied to the State House by the new Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wase and other lawmakers. President Muhammadu Buhari, who formally congratulated them for their victory, which he described as well-deserved, urged them to exhibit high sense of responsibility and patriotism in robustly legislating for public good.
Whatever I do is through national interest. For example, the Senate President and you, I didn't know you person to person before I made up my mind. It's just my observation of your performances, commitment to the party and to the country. You have the time for your job. I'm very pleased the NTA has picked this priority very well. Whenever I have the time to look at it, somebody is working somewhere, which is very interesting. So I congratulate you. And the fundamental issue is to maintain focus on national issues. The three fundamental issues are still very relevant to us. The security in the economy, and then try to make everybody accountable at whatever level. This is very, very important because it will earn us the confidence of the people, and then we have more time to do our jobs.
Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila was full of gratitude to the president for his leadership, proper guidance and confidence in their abilities to lead and make the desired impact in the National Assembly. And on this, he promised they will not fail to deliver.
The confidence you have reposed in us, we will definitely not disappoint you. As it was painful in the last 4 years, for those of you outside, it was also very painful for us. You have quite a number of members in that house this next 4 years in the 9th Assembly that are ready to champion the cause of this party and your cause, so that you can leave a legacy, a major legacy that will last the test of time in Nigeria before you leave in 4 years. So that's what you consider us, your foot soldiers, your legislators, and we will always give you the objective, the truth of what the situation is, and we'll try and work as much as possible with the executive.
Described as the most experienced lawmaker in the House of Representatives, the new Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, was the leader of the House in the 8th National Assembly, during which the new Deputy Speaker was also the Deputy House Leader. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Well, presidential kudos for the NTA contained in that report there. But moving on to the legislature now, the Senate has resolved to write to President Buhari to officially inform him that a quorum of the Senate of the 9th Assembly has assembled and that its presiding officers have been elected. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the Senate is to inform other global and continental parliamentary bodies.
Senators entering the chamber after inauguration for their first legislative business. As early as 9 o'clock in the morning, senators had formed a quorum, waiting for the Senate President. The first entrance procession of the new presiding officers signaled the commencement of plenary. The number 3 man in similar procession 8 days ago is now number 1. Shortly before commencement of business, the 2 senators who contested in the election had a meeting, a pointer towards a unified Senate. Legislative business kicked off with the Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omo Agege, moving a motion for Senate to communicate to the President.
Informing him that the quorum of the Senate assembled and that the presiding officers of the 9th Assembly of the Senate has been elected as
a message to Mr. President CNC, informing him that a quorum of the Senate has assembled and that the presiding officers of the 9th National Assembly of the Senate have been elected. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The first motion of urgent public importance in the 9th Senate came from Senator Estefanus Gyang from Plateau State. He called for deliberation on the President's Democracy Day speech. The motion was shut down.
In view of the interest it has generated,
say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan announced the composition of an ad hoc committee that will see to the allocation of seats and offices to the new senators within 2 weeks.
Senator Abubakar Kyari, Chairman.
Senate sworn-in Senator Rochas Okorocha, representing Imo West Senatorial District of Imo State.
But without the judiciary, I wouldn't have been here. And I also want to thank the INEC for owning up boldly and do the right thing.
Now with this inauguration, 108 senators have been inaugurated, remaining 1 from Imo North. Senate has adjourned till Tuesday, the 2nd of July 2019, from the National Assembly. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And moving over to the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives has also directed the clerk of the House to formally communicate to President Buhari the election of its Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, and Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wase for the 9th Assembly, having assembled and formed a quorum. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Bringing to the notice of the President the election of new presiding officers is in line with legislative rules. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, while presiding at Thursday's plenary, which is also the first day of legislative business as the House of Representatives, directed the clerk, Patrick Giwa, to advise the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
To inform the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the House had been properly constituted and ready to receive any messages he may wish to transmit.
2 matters of urgent public importance and the need to assist victims of flood and other environmental challenges in some states of the Federation, and the request to deploy additional security personnel in parts of Oyo State to combat incessant attacks and kidnappings were adopted. The House thereafter went into a closed-door session which lasted 3 hours, at the end of which the Speaker announced the creation of 3 ad hoc committees on media, welfare and selection. The House adjourned sitting to 2nd July 2019. Chairman of the ad hoc committee on media briefed the press on some resolutions reached at the executive session.
We belong to one whole house, and there's not going to be any prejudices. There's not going to be leaning towards one party. We're going to work towards the unity and progress of our country as one. Together, we must do it. In brotherhood, we all stand.
The Speaker, she added, will embark on visits to some federal constituencies across the country to get first-hand information on their various challenges. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In other news, the Supreme Court has sacked a 2-term House of Representatives member representing Jalingo Zing, Yoruba Federal Constituency, Aminu Ibrahim Mali of the All Progressives Congress, and affirmed Kasimu Bello Maigari having won the All Progressives Congress primary election conducted on the 5th of October 2018. The case was filed by Kasimo Bello Maigari after his name was allegedly substituted on the 18th of October last year with that of Aminu. Justice Chima Nweze, who led the 5-man panel of justices, set aside the judgment of the Court of Appeal Eula Division, which earlier affirmed the two-term member as the winner of the party's primary election and upheld the judgment of the trial court. Justice Nweze faulted the grounds which the appellate court used to deliver its judgment that the suit was filed out of time.
The justices also agreed that the cause of action was actually filed within time, that the cause of action actually arose from the time the appellant discovered that his name was wrongfully substituted, and not on the day which him, the appellant, won the primaries of the second respondent.
I have programs for my constituents, more especially youths. As a youth, I'll make sure I empower youths, that are my colleagues, so that we can better our tomorrow.
The Apex Court also ordered INEC to issue a certificate of return to Kasimo Bello Maigari. In the meantime, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has fixed the 24th of June for ruling on the existence or otherwise of a storage server belonging to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Inspection of the purported INEC server is one of the prayers of Atiku Abubakar of the PDP in his petition. Olabode Arewa reports.
The Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal resumed proceedings with the continuation of its pre-hearing session. Counsel to Atiku Abubakar, Chris Uche, senior advocate of Nigeria, informed the court of his earlier motion to allow an inspection of the card readers and alleged storage servers used by INEC for the February 23, 2019 presidential election. Counsel to INEC, Ustaz Usman, senior advocate of Nigeria, however prayed the tribunal to dismiss Atiku's prayer, saying INEC does not have a storage server as all the election results were collected manually. He also cited the 6th of March 2019 ruling of the court, which disallowed Atiku from inspecting any INEC server. Counsel to President Muhammadu Buhari, Wale Oladipo, senior advocate of Nigeria, called attention to the dangers inherent in the court overturning his earlier ruling on same. The Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal deferred its ruling to the 24th of June 2019.
The court has not taken a position on it, but we're all unanimous, all the respondents, that the application should be refused.
Everybody is aware that smart card readers were used, and this transmitted both data for accreditation and the results. And now we are saying, let us all go there. These are electoral materials supervised by the court.
In a related development, the court was unable to proceed with the petition filed by Ambrose Owuru, presidential candidate of Hope Democratic Party, against President Muhammadu Buhari's victory. This is due to the inability of the party's factions to agree if they should continue with the petition. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
There are some critical issues that cannot be forgotten with the passage of the 2019 elections and must be urgently addressed before any major election. This is coming from the United Nations Special Envoy to Africa and the Sahel, Mohammed Ibn Chambers, during a visit to the INEC head office in Abuja. Mia Ugidi reports.
The elections are over, and those who secured the will of the electorate are settling for business. But left in its wake many memories, some regrettable, others beautiful. The long list of 91 political parties, mode of party primaries, and the legal tussles, the do-or-die nature of some candidates, and the accreditation process of party agents are the regrettable memories for the United Nations Special Envoy to Africa and the Sahel, and emergency measures are required for this emergency situation by INEC.
The number of political parties in certain elections in our West Africa and Sahel sub-region has posed a challenge recently. And it's not only here in Nigeria that we need to look at this issue of number of political parties, their mode of registration.
We hope to conclude the ongoing review of the 2019 general elections in the next 2 months. These reviews have become standard practice by the Commission and involve all stakeholders across the electoral process. Immediately thereafter, we shall engage with the leadership of the 9th National Assembly.
And of fellowship that excites the INEC boss. And most of the issues will be addressed, the INEC chair promised, bearing in mind the want of time. Mayor Ogede, NT News.
In time now to take our first break. Network News will continue shortly. Stay with us.
Dear Mommy, you went out that night with the baby in your tummy, but you did not come back. The baby is very fine and she eats and sleeps a lot. Everyone says that you are in a better place, but I miss you so much. I keep asking them, where is the better place, but nobody answers me. Auntie Kemi just hugs me and says, go and play. Mommy, I miss you. Please, when are you coming home?
I still do miss you, Mom. And in honor of your memory, I'm a doctor today working with the MTN Foundation to save mothers and children every day.
Ending mother and child mortality in Nigeria is dear to us. We will keep strengthening this most important bond just for you.
The pride of Nigeria's education system, Afe Babalola University at Adwekiti, Abuja, is conducting an admission screening into the colleges of engineering, sciences, social and management sciences, medicine and health sciences. 10 a.m. Saturday, 22nd June 2019. Centers, Afe Babalola University at Adwekiti, Government Secondary School, Gariki, Abuja, Afe Babalola Auditorium, University of Lagos, Elechi Amadi Polytechnic, Rumola Road, Port Harcourt, Government Technical College, Main Avenue, Calabar, Plateau State Polytechnic Campus, Jos, Divine Progress School, Banawa, Kaduna, Afe Babalola International Study Center, Bodija, Ibadan, Master Care International School, Asaba, Bright Future College, Uyo, undergraduate, direct entry and postgraduate admissions available in all colleges. Access www.abua.edu.ng or call 080-355-09150. Abuad, a vision in motion.
Mr. Shegun, are you okay?
I'm having pain, so this has been like this for the past 1 week.
Let me assist you to the hospital. You can't continue like this alone.
No. I want to go and see Baba Muslimi to give me some herbal mixture so that I can take. Because this hospital, the way they treat person, I'm not going to the hospital.
Mr. Shegun, that was in the past. With new patients' Bill of Rights, patients have the right to an urgent, immediate, and sufficient intervention and care. A right to complain and experience dissatisfaction where and when necessary with the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. Your consumers' rights are protected.
To lay your complaint, please contact any of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission's FCCPC offices closest to you with your complaints. You can also call our helplines at 0805-600-2020 or 0805-600-3030.
Please, let us go to the hospital. I'd like to experience this firsthand.
At FCCPC, you can rely on us to resolve your complaints effectively and efficiently.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the reach.
Special announcement. The Chief of Defense Staff, General A.G. Olonishaki, cordially invites the general public to the 3rd edition of the Armed Forces and Security Agencies Half Marathon Championship, Abuja 2019. Theme, Together We Are. Date, 15th June 2019. Time, 6 a.m. Venue, Agunyi Rossi Cantonment, Abuja. Commodore N.J. Bala, Chairman Organizing Committee, Announcer.
Thanks for staying with us. Activities marking the nation's 2019 Democracy Day may have come and gone, but the memories will linger in the minds of the people. One of such is the photo exhibition tagged Bin Buhari during the gala night that preceded the main event of the celebration. State House correspondent Jide Onifade tells us more.
You may be wondering what Akambi Boss is doing right here in the Hall of Fame at the State House Conference Center. Well, I'll tell you more about that. You know that the vehicle is famous for mass transit, especially in the 80s till date. But what we're going to talk about here is the inscription, the third coming. The third coming is not, however, referring to the vehicle here, but to an individual who, right from the 80s, has made incursions into the political scene of the country and known for his integrity and big heart for not only the elite, but for the commoners. And that person is President Muhammadu Buhari.
So the boss journey is also an expression of the president's journey around. He always says that he went through 36 states, including FCT. So we're looking for a representation of the energy the president put into winning this last election and the energy he has put into leading Nigeria to the next level.
This photo exhibition displays the moments of his interactions with the people over the years, especially in the last 4 years. The president is here leading other heads of states and governments to inspect the exciting moments as captured by the camera lens of Bayo Omoboriowo.
President Buhari is a legend. He's an exceptional person. His character, his personality is what any photographer would dream to document. And to me, I'm not just photographing the president, I'm preserving history. I'm telling the story of today for tomorrow's audience.
Now, the question Mr. Bayo Omoboriowo has raised with his photo exhibition is that what will history record about you at the end of the journey? In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
Well, the pronouncement of June 12 as Nigeria's Democracy Day and its maiden commemoration marks another milestone in Nigeria's history. Doyin Dia has this report on the commemoration of the day across the country.
From the south to the north, the rhyme on this special occasion of June 12 is the new Democracy Day in Nigeria, an event which brings to mind the selfless sacrifices of the heroes of democracy in the country. From Akure, the Ondo State capital, comes a report that indigenes of the state have again commended President Muhammadu Buhari for recognizing and confirming June 12 as the new Democracy Day. From Lafia, Nasarawa State, correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that some Nigerians describe the June 12 Democracy Day celebration as a good omen for the future of the country.
Especially Abiola and the circumstances we found ourselves during that election. This thing is just a step in the right direction.
From Port Harcourt, River State, comes a report that residents of the state want the political class to use the occasion of the new Democracy Day to ensure that the tenet of democratic governance is upheld.
And the struggle to democratize Nigeria to the level where we're all proud of this country, where this country becomes the umbrella for all of us truly, is the real essence of having June 12.
As Nigerians continues to bask in the euphoria of the new Democracy Day, the consensus is for everyone to contribute his or her quota towards ensuring that Nigeria's democracy was stronger. In Abuja, doing Dia NT News.
And staying with the fallouts of the day, Nigeria will soon have dedicated agro-processing zones towards boosting agricultural production and socio-economic development of the country. In achieving this, the government will also take steps in addressing incessant felling of economic trees. These were promises contained in the Democracy Day speech of President Muhammadu Buhari. In this report, Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at the possible impact this could have on the socio-economic well-being of Nigeria and its farmers.
Since the scrapping of agriculture commodity boards 20 years ago, Nigeria lacks effective and efficient agro-processing policy programs. Farmers and processors were left with no option than to rely on market forces for demand and supply.
Our farmers have made great strides.
President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is pushing for a new program under the Government Agriculture Diversification Initiative towards establishing crop processing zones.
Dedicated agro-industrial processing zones will be developed on a PPP basis to increase farming yields, agricultural productivity, and industrial output.
Agricultural economists are of the view that the proposed special agro-industrial processing zones be the panacea to the over-dependence on food importation.
What that translates to, again, is increased wealth earnings for farmers. Translate also to export capacity for the economy.
The federal government will also take measures to address felling of economic trees for firewood by providing more effective and alternative for energy.
Felling of trees to provide energy for domestic use is taking its toll on our rainforests, our ecology, and our climate. We will work to address this issue and support rural communities with challenges of safety switching from firewood to cooking gas.
If all these are achieved, economists are of the view that Nigeria will take her pride of place as the major producer and exporter of agricultural produce and products in Africa. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And as the nation marked the inaugural Democracy Day, a key issue in the minds of Nigerians is how to address the security challenges viewed as a bigger threat to democracy in Nigeria. Now, to unravel the situation, a public lecture on June 12 in Port Harcourt identified security of basic needs as the first step to resolving insecurity in the country. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
26 years after the annulment of 1993 presidential election, the Nigerian government officially adopted June 12 as the nation's democracy date. The Rivers Unity House spearheaded this discussion, which focused on national security beyond power, passion, and politics.
We need to retrain our security forces, especially in the area of intelligence.
We felt that security challenges should kickstart our conversation about democracy in this country.
For the guest speaker, Professor Ihosa Osagaye, democracy is in place to meet the people's needs, noting that the shortcomings in Nigeria's democracy is responsible for the insecurity in the country.
I think that it's been a day of sober reflections, and what this means is we must now recognize that as a democratic variable, security is a collective activity.
Chief of Army Staff represented shared the military perspective.
Is supposed to lead its constitutional responsibility by ensuring that all threats to the country's national security is depicted and addressed to the time.
The lessons of June 12 to the organizers is an indication that Nigerians can actually organize free and credible elections, hence the need for better public enlightenment. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Dufil Prima Foods PLC, makers of Indomie instant noodles, are making greater inroads into the heart of their host community in Rivers State with the provision of special scholarship grants to students in schools situated in the community. Onengie Fineface reports that 40 students from 4 primary and secondary schools in Choba host community benefited from the largesse.
Dufil Prima Foods PLC, makers of Indomie instant noodles, operates a corporate social responsibility policy hinged on 3 pillars of education, health, and community development. The scholarship grant derives from the education support initiative of the company, with 40 students receiving 100,000 naira each. The scheme is a product of needs assessment carried out by Dufil Prima after interactions with the host community.
In education like this, we find from time to time that we give students scholarship, and of course we also provide some basic infrastructures for school. For instance, we make provisions for laboratory equipment, we make provision for books, exercise books, biros, and we believe that once we get the foundation right, we'll have a better Nigeria.
For the company, I pray God will bless them more. They will do better than this. I say a big thank you to them and God bless them.
As expected, benefiting students gave concrete expressions to their gratitude for what they consider to be the springboard of their leap into educational growth and a secure future.
This check can lead me to secondary school, and I also think that it will also lead us to university.
Then these have given me the privilege to at least go to secondary school and university.
I thank them and I thank God for giving them the opportunity to give me the money. May God bless them.
That makes the community have the impact, positive impact of the company situated in the locality.
Selections for the award were made based on the performance of the beneficiaries in their academics and character. In Port Harcourt, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Nigerians will have Hajj coverage like never before if the pledge made by media practitioners at the inauguration of the 2019 Hajj media team is anything to go by. The national media team gave the assurance during an inauguration and induction ceremony organized by the National Hajj Commission. Yusuf Umar was at the National Mosque and now reports.
As it has been the tradition, National Hajj Commission conducts seminars to journalists built to cover Hajj pilgrimage every year. This is to equip them with information that will enable them perform pilgrimage and effectively cover the exercise without falling foul of the laws of Saudi Arabia.
I mean, reporting Hajj is not different from any reportage. It is the same. But you must make sure that you stick by those co-editorial values. And what are we talking about? We're talking of accuracy, balance, the independence of your own report, objectivity, the truthfulness, because a journalist is after the truth.
Hajj is a transborder activity, and we have to respect the rules and regulation of the Saudi government, and the media team should concentrate in covering Hajj and Hajj alone. And the essence of being there is to report Nigerian Hajj to Nigerians.
Emphasis was on being accurate and fair in reportage, as well as taking national interest as guiding principle. In Abuja, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
As the largest television network, the Nigerian Television Authority is committed to ensuring that Nigerians are provided the opportunity to view AFCON matches in the comfort of their homes and viewing centers as the Africa Cup of Nations tournament kicks off in Egypt on the 21st of June. Gufan Shaji reports that the Director General of NTA visited the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to hold talks on how best to bring the sporting event to Nigerians.
As a unifying factor in Nigeria, football always makes Nigerians to forget ethnicity, religion and other differences. These sports enthusiasts, whom are heading the affairs of the Nigerian Television Authority and the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, are holding talks to use it to further integrate the nation. NTA wants to beam such tournaments to every Nigerian home, but cannot achieve it alone, and so seeks the support of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund.
It's a credit to this administration that for the first time in 6 years, Nigeria has qualified to participate in this continental tournament. And we think every Nigerian has a right to watch the national team in action.
In the common journey to get this country rise from whatever level we are to higher leadership level at the global stage, I'll be glad to do so.
A blueprint of NTA's expectations of the third fund was presented during the meeting in Abuja. Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the chairman and publisher of Vanguard Media Limited, Sam Amuka Kwemu, as he turns 84. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari joins his family, media industry in Nigeria and beyond to celebrate the award-winning journalist, columnist, publisher and elder statesman who has stirred the conscience of the nation for a greater part of his lifetime. The President believes that the professionalism, patriotism and sense of duty of Mr. Sam Amuka Kwemu is worth emulating by all. Let's now go over to our Lagos Center and link up with Hingino for more news. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to Lagos. Leveraging on the use of technological innovations to drive economic growth and development remains key to a robust gross domestic product performance. This was the submission of stakeholders at a business gathering in Lagos. Abolade Salami reports.
The use of technology by most developed countries to solve economic and industrial challenges resulted in improved economy. For Nigeria to break even and join the league of countries where technological innovation will begin to drive economic recovery and development, stakeholders at this gathering are engaging in strategic insights of preferring solutions.
What we are trying to do today is to provoke discussion around how Nigeria and Africa indeed can leverage on the fourth industrial revolution to increase the productive capacity of the economy and, of course, achieve economic growth and development.
The need for the country to design an enforcement of public policies as it regards innovative technology to facilitate economic growth and financial inclusion, the submitted is important.
We need to spend about $100 billion according to our infrastructure master plan. We ain't got that kind of money. But if you bring private capital to the table, bring the appropriate technology to the table, then of course, imagine when big countries are telling you that distances in excess of 1,000 kilometers have been covered in 2-3 hours. You know, it begins to tell you it's about speed, it's about ability, reliability.
The process where Nigeria can use innovative application to positively impact on agricultural production and fiscal responsibility will further enhance our development among developing nations. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
With the growing pressure of globalization, governments and industrialists have to bear the burden of finding ways to ensure that the nation remains competitive and capable of meeting local demands. This is the reason for a forum put together by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, in Lagos. Annie Daniels reports that it is the maiden edition that has as its theme developing Nigeria's tech ecosystem, imperative for improving local content.
information technology to serve markets the world over, it has become imperative that the right frameworks be developed. This is to enhance the ability of indigenous companies to maximally explore and exploit local opportunities, as well as remain globally competitive. It is in the light of this that the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, brought together ICT experts to chart the way forward.
It's a practical demonstration of our support for one of the key policy thrusts of the federal government as enunciated in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan.
So a lot of new developments are from ICT, and it's very important for us to be part of it.
The barriers to entry in things like software development or services much lower than in building highly complex industries.
Propelled by a passion to create Nigeria's Silicon Wazobia, NCC identified Lagos State as a location with a large cluster of hubs in Nigeria.
The Silicon Valley in the US was what brought about the Apple, the Facebook, the Netflix, and so on and so forth. And we can benchmark on the success story of the Silicon Valley in the US to see how we can replicate some in Nigeria.
There are creative minds, young boys and girls that can do exploits. All they need is to be pushed, to be encouraged.
It is expected that this initiative by NCC will inspire more stakeholders' interests in ICT innovation and, more importantly, provide a veritable platform for the tech hubs in Nigeria to network with prospective investors towards greater development of the tech ecosystem in Nigeria. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. More reports after this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Sensitivity is a short, sharp pain that people experience when they have something hot or cold getting to the nerve of the tooth. If the sensitivity is left alone, it may get worse. Dentists recommend Sensodyne. It's able to calm the nerve of the tooth. The proof's in the results. It works.
One football confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic, be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Bankers Committee holds talks on next phase of financing the creative industry in Nigeria. Comfort Amado is right here to tell us all about it on Business News. Comfort.
Yes, of course, you know how much they contribute to Nigerians' GDP. And as a result, Central Bank is working towards enhancing the capacity of key players in the sector.
All right.
Now, Bankers Committee. Now, the committee in Nigeria will be meeting and also participating in the industry to finance the initiative, which in the coming day will allow investors in the sector to access loans up to 500 million naira at a 9% interest rate. The Bankers Committee, after a meeting in Abuja, also disclosed they are in talks with pension fund administrators to expedite the release of a 25% of pension savings for mortgages.
Person or business that is in either fashion, information technology, movie production, music, software, is encouraged to have faith, put together your proposal, demonstrate the viability, and approach your bank. One of the things that we've agreed today is that the central bank has a central collation point where all the requests that come through any bank is forwarded. So that we have a way of seeing the total impact that we are able to achieve in mobilizing employment, in creating jobs, stimulating the economy, exporting the talent of Nigerians, boosting our foreign exchange reserves, and becoming a major player in this industry.
But anybody who is part of the RSA scheme would very easily be able to get a mortgage loan. That alone would make other people interested in joining.
We recognize the importance of consumer lending in scaling up GDP growth, and so the need to take that step further.
Now, Nigerian African tops oil producer is set to have produced $236.15 billion from petroleum export within the period of 5 years. The latest annual report by the Organization of Petroleum Export Countries, OPEC, indicates that the population of OPEC member countries increased by 11 million last year, with Nigeria, Iraq and Angola adding 5.3 million, bringing the OPEC member countries' share of global population to 6.64%, up from 6.57% in 2017. The report says OPEC crude oil production dropped to about 400,000 barrels per day last year compared to 2017. And now the decline in the Nigerian equities market continued Thursday as the all share index depreciated by 0.23% to close at 30,029.15 basis points against 0.73% depreciation recorded previously. Its year-to-date returns presently stand at minus 4.46%. Glasgow Smith Line led 14 gainers as topped by 15 losers, topped by CI Leasing at the end of the day's session. We do hope that the equities market will perform better tomorrow, Sarah.
All right. Lots of good news in the business news tonight. Thank you, Comfort. Well, in accordance with the requirement of the Public Procurement Act of 2007, the Nigerian Television Authority opened 2019 direct purchase bid to its local and international business partners and suppliers, with 66 companies indicating interest. Linda Ogidi reports.
The Executive Director Admin and Training of Nigerian Television Authority, Steve Abel, set the process in motion. He says the essence of the bidding is to ensure transparency process that will produce reputable and qualified companies to be engaged.
Here at the NTA, we don't just preach gospels. We follow the rules of the game, and we believe that other segments
and institutions will do likewise, so that we encourage the growth of the national economy in line with the preaching of transparency and the accountability.
It was a process that the companies and observers acknowledged is transparency.
Everything was done, all fairness, all protocols observed. It was a very smooth process.
It's observed to have been conducted accurately, efficiently, and in line with the Act 2007 on procurement process.
We didn't expect anything less from NTA than excellence, which you promote. And honestly, we are very satisfied with the process.
The bidding is for procurement of equipment for NTA. In Abuja, Linda Ogede, NTA News.
Now let's get some sport news with Kene Imagwodike.
Encomiums continue to pour in for President Muhammadu Buhari following the renaming of Abuja National Stadium after the late Moshood Abiola, even as enthusiasts call for the edifice to become the nation's sporting hub.
Naming the stadium after Chief MK Abiola, fantastic idea, but the stadium needs to be very, very functional. We should begin to have, most of our international matches.
Fans have urged Super Falcons of Nigeria to sustain their resilience as they face host France in last Group A fixture at the FIFA Women's World Cup in France on Monday. With 3 points after 2 games so far, Super Falcons are expected to earn a decent result against the host, who have progressed with 6 points from 2 games.
They need to bring in the same energy they used against Korea if they're going to play against France, which is going to be a very hard game for them, considering that France are champions.
Meanwhile, following their 3-1 defeat of Mexico at the ongoing 4-Nation Invitational Tournament on Wednesday, Nigeria's future Eagles